Geeta coming in, but also start recording, just in case you can't make it. Okay, and it's all like I said, it's a grounding technique. So this can be used whenever we're kind of feeling like we're bringing in a new energy or releasing old energy. So this is why that kind of spring reset is quite nice to kind of do and use these kind of grounding techniques, because we are kind of moving forward into kind of a new chapter, really, especially because it's the start of the new astrological year, you know, on the 1st of April. So this grounding meditation, it aims to create a flow of power that we can safely send out to the world inside in terms of loving, healing energy, and it'll uplift us. So I want us to begin by just sitting on the chair or kind of on the floor, wherever we are, and just wiggle and shake out any tension that we might be feeling in our body. So we're going to just start by kind of, just releasing, having a bit of a wiggle, rolling those shoulders back and forth, doing anything that you might want to. You might actually, I know some of you are on mute, but you might just want to shout or scream or just get some physical sound out of your body if that resonates as well. And then once you feel like you've got any tension out, I want you to start to just close your eyes slowly for me. And we're going to use just a short breathing technique just to ground us initially. So we're going to inhale through our nose for 8 counts. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hold the breath for 8 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then exhale the breath for 8 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so we're going to start to begin here now. So as we breathe in and out, I want you to allow that body to relax, and don't worry about those 8 counts. Let that kind of counting go now. I just want you to steady your rhythm at its normal pace. But notice with those breaths where there is tension, and I want you to start breathing into those areas of the body. So as you breathe in, you're thinking about the new energy that you're bringing into your body, and then you're releasing the tension with every breath. So every breath in, it's about new energy, it's about revitalizing, it's about renewal, and every breath out is about releasing that tension. Anything that's no longer serving us is actually becoming removed from our body by that breath. And you might want to actually make quite a loud, audible sigh, like an actual kind of sigh out, and that helps us actually release some of that energy that's no longer serving us. Okay. And now I want you to feel your weight on the earth. So this might be feet on the ground, this might be kind of chair on the seat. And I want you to notice how the weight is being distributed over all of the points of contact with the earth or the chair. So thinking about your left side, your right side, the front and the back, noticing kind of, every part of that connection to the earth. And then return that attention to our breath again. So again, consciously breathing, using that breath as an anchor. And anytime you feel yourself pulling away from the meditation, return your attention to this breath. You know, we've used that meditation mantra, haven't we, before, around kind of breathing in and relaxing, and then breathing out and smiling. So again, it might be that you use those words to help you just remember to concentrate on your breath in this moment. And again here, visualize each breath as it enters your body. Imagine it filling you up down into your legs and out through your feet. And imagine your breath is like roots of a tree digging into the soil. And we're going to let our breath find its way through the cool topsoil, past the worms and other ground critters, and visualize it as it continues down into the earth, past the bones of our ancestors, down deeper into the earth, through the bedrock, through the underground caverns and rivers and lakes, growing and pushing down, down, down. And as your breath roots deep into the earth, it spreads wide as well. So feel like those really wide roots of a tree seeking the warm heart of the earth. So it's about expansion. And now our roots have entered the fiery core of Mother Earth, and you're now grounded into the earth through your meditation here. I want you to let your roots take up residence So really allow those roots to kind of go as far as they need to in order to make you feel stable in this moment. Feel the channel between you and the earth opening. And now is the time we're going to release. So we're going to keep our kind of thoughts on the grounding here, but I want you to focus on sending your breath outwards with anything that doesn't serve you in this moment. So breathing it down to the fiery cauldron of the earth. Mother Earth will transform it and return it to you when it will help you again. So releasing all of that troubles, all of the worries, all of the fears to Mother Earth, and letting yourself be free. And now we're going to exchange our energy. So notice the immense pressure at the core of the earth. This pressure will send the earth energy back up to you. When you allow your rootlets to open, we're going to let the energy flow into our roots effortlessly and let it move up through the reaches of our root system, moving up through the underground waters, up through the bedrock, up past the bones of our ancestors, up through the rich topsoil, and right up into the soles of our feet. And this fiery energy keeps rising. All you need to do is sit here and be open to it. So it's about opening ourselves to the rising energy. It rises on its own, up through your legs, filling them with energy, up through your root chakra, filling it and overflowing it into your sacral chakra, filling it and overflowing it into your solar plexus chakra, filling it completely. And as we're grounding through this practice, keep your meditative breathing. So feel the energy rising, and as it keeps filling you up more and more, just be aware of that breath. It keeps you anchored. Okay. And once again, just ask yourself, is there anything I need to let go of that's no longer serving me? And focus back on that breathing. So now our next in-breath, we're going to allow the earth energy to rise again up through us, filling us up again. And we're going to have a few final breaths just to take in and notice a few things from the experience. Place your hands on either side of your body, touching the ground with your flat palms or having your hands on your legs. And I want you to just give thanks for such abundance. Thank yourself just for giving yourself 5-6 minutes just to take a check on how you're feeling today, to allow yourself to become grounded for the beginning of this session, and almost give yourself a bit of a pat on the back for anything that you've been able to release through this meditation today as well. And just know that you're going to keep what you need to keep here in this moment to become fully charged and energized. And you've released any access or excess that may no longer be serving us in this moment. So when you're ready, just return your awareness to our surroundings. Maybe start to just move those shoulders a little bit. Do a few wiggles if you want to move your body in any way. Wiggle your toes, our fingers. Notice a few sounds around us. Smell the scents, feel the air and the earth. And then slowly open your eyes and allow your environment to come back into focus. That was doubly long, by the way. That was like a 40-minute meditation. So I had to like pick out certain parts, but there was just something about that renewal of almost letting go and actually taking from the earth. I don't know. I really liked that cycle. So I hope that just helps you connect and be present. Everyone.
I've never done that kind of meditation before. I loved it.
Good. I'm glad. Perfect. Okay, I haven't heard from Eurasia, so I don't know if she's been joining us, but I've started the recording anyway, so that's the main thing. So we're going to be doing we're going to be doing 2 separate breakout rooms today because this was quite a big subject, and I've had so many messages from some of you already around how you guys have got on. So yeah, it's quite big, and I can't wait to kind of start to dive into this a little bit with you guys, really, because for a lot of us, it's something we've never thought about before, and for others, it's something we've thought about a lot. So again, don't worry or don't get attached to not knowing at this point. This is part of the journey unfolding as it's meant to. So I just wanted to give you guys a chance as a group just to share kind of any initial thoughts that maybe that kind of came up for you, you know, through this module. Yeah, I did mean sorry, I just saw your chat. Yeah, I did mean Geeta, sorry. Oh, I don't know. It's I don't know. Monday, my head's been a little bit all over the place today, so sorry about that. You are here. We can see you fine. You're like this. Hi, I'm here. Anyone want to share any kind of initial thoughts around those kind of guided visualizations? How did it feel to explore this subject for the first time for a lot of you? I know I had a few messages from Georgie just saying like, oh my God, this is so interesting, because it is just a fascinating area that sometimes we don't even really kind of think about. It's some big questions.
Can I talk from a person who did it the second time?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to hear.
So the first time when you done it with me and Caroline, I couldn't visualize any of it. And I think I told you that. I was like, oh, I can't see it. I'm not feeling it. This time round, yeah, I saw it, I sensed it. And the rocket one, the planet, yeah, I had so much more to elaborate on the answers, and yeah, there was so much more depth to it than when you first initially did that. So I feel like 6 months down the line, it became more defined in what my planet's going to look like. And that was without thinking about we had done that 6 months prior anyway. But yeah, I just felt like, like it was
it's
more
important
defined.
to mention that, I think, because it's one of those where actually you've had time to sit with that a bit. And that's why I always say with any of this work, I'd love you guys to revisit this in like 6 months' time on your own, or just go through, kind of pick a module every now and then and just do a guided visualization and just see what comes up, because it's a process. And I think sometimes when we first do it, and especially with the planet one, our head gets in the way because we're like, well, this is weird. Well, this wouldn't happen. I wouldn't be in a rocket ship. And why, you know, and it's the logical minds going, well, this is like obviously not accurate because this would never happen. But that's, you know, that's our mind getting in the way. And actually you've kind of got to allow that freedom. So that's why the billboard and the other one around like having a message in front of a crowd, sometimes it's easier for people initially, because the creativity one can be quite hard, especially if you're overthinking. So thank you for saying that, Eurasia. I think that sometimes it's something that you might want to revisit, like as you move forward as well. Any other thoughts around any that you liked versus the other ones? Like anything that particularly landed more than others? And again, this just shows that we're all different, because we're either really creative and we find the creative ones easier, or we find it easier to like reflect on a past time. It's usually kind of one or the other that's that kind of is a bit easier for us to connect to.
I enjoyed all three. I found them totally different, but like Eurisha, I think probably because it's the first time, mine were quite like I can see how I would go deeper. At the moment, it's just kind of like it's the first time I've ever thought about it, so it wasn't massively fleshed out. But I think that when I was doing them, I imagined that they would all lead me to a similar place. Does that make sense? Like the same kind, and they didn't. So I was like, well, that's different. Every time I kind of went on a different journey. But I quite liked that as well, because it was just interesting to see where my mind went when you put me in different situations.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think one thing I love to say to people when we get into life purpose is like, it's not about a career. So don't let that limit you almost. We were having a chat earlier, me and Yasmin, about the fact that our wellness business is almost our life purpose, and that makes this quite hard because you get attached to the outcome of career. But actually this could literally be a volunteering activity for you. It could be almost like a hobby or an interest. And if you're feeling like your career at the moment is like a bit of a conflict for you to access your life purpose, think about it wider than that, because this isn't about us changing our career overnight because it doesn't fit our life purpose. It's the fact that actually it's fluid. And thinking about, we were talking a lot today about the fact that it's about everyday tasks, because our life purpose is like framed that we might not ever get there because it's so in the future. And I think it's about bringing this into everyday lives of actually how do we break this down so that it's present every day. And that's the kind of misconception with life purpose, isn't it? You know, we sometimes don't ever get there because we're just focusing on the fact that, you know, we're almost not achieving it because we're making it so big, you know, in our minds. Any other thoughts on this? Because I know it was quite new to quite a few of you.
I struggled quite a lot to visualize.
Yeah.
So I love these guided meditations, but at the moment I'm struggling with focus a little bit. So I couldn't really visualize much, but I had this like feeling inside. It was like a fire that was like, I felt all energized and like, and it was just amazing. And I just started writing and just more and more came, which is really unlike me, because normally, you know, you see my work, Natalie, it's like a couple of lines and that's me done. But this was really powerful for me.
Wow, that's amazing. It shows that there's something that wants to be unleashed there. It's like, oh yeah, like, you know, almost the fact that it's been wanting to get out or be heard for a long time. So that's like a sign that you're onto something there in terms of just allowing that voice to be heard almost.
Yeah.
Amazing. Perfect. Any final comments on those 3 guided visualizations? Any that were a bit trickier for you to connect with? No, all good. Okay, I'm going to give you 3 questions to answer in your first breakout room, and what we're going to do is I'd love you to share your billboard firstly with your kind of colleague or peer, and I also would like you to share actually, I'm going to give you a choice. You can either share your billboard or your kind of message to the world that was kind of your speech, but share kind of just a line of it also. And I'd then want you to just share a little bit about what that future planet looks like. Now, there's quite a lot there, and you might literally just want to focus on one if one was really strong, but I'd rather you be able to bring out something in all 3, because this is where actually talking it through helps you get another layer of awareness of them. If there might just be something about the planet that you can't place, and having a mirror of someone else to be able to like go back and forth with you, you can get a little bit more deepening in terms of the learning here. Okay, so I'm going to give you only probably like 5 minutes each way, but this is more to allow yourself to get really, really clear about what was showing up in those scenarios that might be the impact, because this is all getting us closer to our impact statement. If you remember, last week we talked a bit about I am that. So this bit is about getting clear on the impact statement. So any clues here? And actually there was something about this, but I don't really quite understand how it might link. Use each other to kind of deepen that. And I'm going to be kind of slotting in and out, I think, as I usually do, because we have an even number today. Okay, so the breakout rooms are always awesome, so I'm just going to like let it do its thing again as normal, and I'm going to give you 5 minutes each way, and yeah, just use each other here, because if there's anything that's feeling stuck as well, start there, because this is where you can just get shed a little bit of light on it. Right, I'm going to let you go.
taken to, hi Natalie, I'm glad you're there, because I wanted to say something in the group. I just didn't feel confident enough.
Okay.
And here I am getting emotional. But I was just saying to Molly that last week when you started talking about, you know, one's life statement, purpose, it took me to a poem I wrote and read at my mum's funeral. And it's called A Hand to Hold. And I haven't stopped. Obviously, I think about that all of the time, but I think that's part of her legacy in, you know, she always had, you know, her hand out for people to hold. She's very kind and all of that. And I think when I reflect on all that we've done throughout this session, it is all about that kindness, that nurturing, that coaching, that listener, all of those things. So I've bought the poem tonight. I don't know that I've got the strength to read it out to you all, or anyone, and it's very, very short, but it really says a lot. And I think, I know that my life purpose statement will be something about I am the hand to hold, to lead the way. I don't know, but through those 3 guided visualizations, obviously other things have come to the forefront. I'm guessing that all of that are pieces to the, not the puzzle, but they're pieces that are going to make up the overall life purpose. So when I said to you in the Slack message, my nan said to my mum that I was born for a reason, this is it.
Wow.
This is it. This is, I am the hand to hold. And, you know, without even knowing it, I've done that all of my life to my network of friends, family, beyond, colleagues, people I meet with, you know, without even knowing it. And I just think that this is it for me. So last week I thought, okay, I know I've got to come up with an impact statement along the line, but I so feel strongly that this is the start of it, if you like.
Wow.
So
thank you so much for sharing. That's massive, isn't it? And I think what's really big for me there is the fact that you've actually always known, but you've needed permission to like step into this and own it and know why. And this is sometimes about understanding the why so that you can act it out, because sometimes things don't make sense, but as you know, human beings, we need to make sense of it all. But you've known this all along. This is almost us giving you the permission slip to be like, off you go then.
yeah. And you know, even the vision boards, there's a lot of pictures with hands in it. There are lots of images rather with hands in it, and it all makes sense. It all makes sense. And you know, when I consider, you know, what people tell me as well, you know, on a personal and professional level, you know, it is piecing it all together. I mean, it's a different kettle of fish to outwardly say that statement. But that's the step that I do want to take. And, you know.
I love that. And I think from speaking to you about the work situation as well, there's something there around the fact that you're playing that role out with the people through the people, we said, didn't we? People is such a big part of you nurturing people and having that team element as well. Like this is probably going to look different in your personal life and then your professional life, but then you might have a metaphor for each, because actually it might be slightly different words. And actually this is why actually for you the metaphor be quite interesting, because it might be that the metaphor actually is the hand, or that the impact is being the hand to hold. Does that make sense? So think a bit about how do we know that that's Karen? How do we know that that's your hand? Like, what is it about that hand that is guiding in a way that's your way? And I think this is where the metaphor comes in almost, because you will guide and I will guide in such different ways.
Yeah, I'll just tell you about the planet.
Do.
Again, like Yasmin said, I didn't go very deep. You know, the answers came, they're very short and sweet, and I guess it's something I'm going to elaborate on. But the planet was scapes of every description, seas, mountains, skyscapes, landscape, lakes, but there were no people. And why was I there? Because this is a space that I'm going to create for healing. And I want to lead and guide and show people the way for those that are willing to follow and, you know, find this space that I've created for healing. And, you know, I never as a child wanted to be a nurse or a religious person or anything like that, but there's just something, I don't know, you know, I wanted to be a dancer when I was 8 years old. I wanted to be on the stage, you know, I wanted to perform. I still do secretly. So I don't know how that pieces together, but I guess, again, with my core values about harmony and peace and calm, it's all there, it's all coming together.
Absolutely it is. And I think this comes back to like what is your way of doing this? So the action, like, so if someone was going to show up and you would be guiding them through being their hand to hold, like what would that look like and what would that feel like? Because that's going to give you the almost like the outlet, that's going to give you kind of the language, the words, but also the action as well. So I think sit with that and notice yourself doing it in everyday life, which you will be, and notice kind of how that's showing up for you naturally.
Yeah. Thank you.
And what are your thoughts, Molly, on kind of Karen saying that? Because again, you're a mirror here to kind of just mirror back how that lands with you as well.
I think it's so special.
Yeah.
Just like such a strong connection. And yeah, I like the kind of the fact that you're kind of asking it to be more of an individual hand. I think that I'm interested to see how Karen kind of takes that, I think. But yeah, maybe I didn't know whether kind of you have any colors that relates to your mum, and maybe that's the color of the hand or the color of the nails, or yeah, I don't know.
Sitting with that deeper, isn't it, around noticing how you're already doing it and like understanding, kind of making that conscious, because actually you'll be doing it subconsciously in every part of your life, but actually it's about making that conscious, and then you being proactive about that rather than that just being an undercurrent, because it's kind of like an undercurrent at the moment that's just part of who you are. But think of the power if that was proactively part, you know, and you outwardly went to the world with an offer of the fact that we're going to be kind of a hand to hold. Like that's then you acting on this a bit more, and that's the change, rather than do you see what I mean? There's a different energy there, because you're kind of like, yeah, you're kind of stepping into that and with a different meaning.
Yeah. I mean, I've always wanted to give something back to the community. That has always been a big desire, and in an ideal world, with my career change at the moment, you know, if I could tick that box and I was, you know, working for an industry that is giving something back, be it education, medical, scientific, it would be, you know, the icing on the cake. But equally, you know, those people who go to, you know, on Christmas Day, who've got nowhere to go, and you can go and help and cook the food and serve them. Oh my God, that would just be, that gives me so much pleasure. Yeah. So this whole volunteering, and I'd love to really get more involved in that, because there's something bigger going on here. This, you know, there really is.
I feel that 100% through, and I think this is where that next week sits, around understanding the exact wording, but thinking about what opportunities might be present for you already to kind of step into this role. And it's like, I know you've got a new role coming in terms of career, but it might not all be there. This might be something you're creating like as a volunteer piece on the side. And then, you know, so actually if it's not available to you right now, this is something we can create that space, or we can then have that action. So and you know, with Molly's, she works with a homeless charity in a homeless charity, so it's a bit easier for her to kind of play this out on a daily basis, maybe, if that's in alignment. I don't know, I'm guessing that probably is linked to your life purpose, Molly. But if it isn't, we can create these opportunities in our life. Just because it's not there or isn't, what it might be part of your job description, Karen. You might say to your new boss when you're doing your new kind of job role, like, I want 2 hours a month to volunteer back. You know, you can create this. I think it's starting from a blank piece of paper and diving into that a bit more now.
Yeah, but really, really enjoyable.
Good, I'm so glad. Molly, over to you, my love, and I'm going to switch into a different room and I'll be back.
Okay. I'm not sure.
Like, there's so many people out there and we need to be like championing one another. I don't know. I'd never think young people. I just think women. I was saying how when I was doing the speech visualization, like, I've always talked about my own purpose in life was to support young people. But when I did that, I just kept seeing women.
So it's women.
But is it? I don't know.
Don't think about it too much. I think sit with both. It might be young women.
Could be, yeah. You could be right.
Interesting.
Plot thickens in life.
What was your billboard, both of you?
Georgie, you can go first.
Mine was, you can't be something to everyone, but to someone you are everything.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you showed me that, didn't you? I love that. That's such a powerful reframe, isn't it? Such a powerful reframe.
I think so. Eurasia and I talked through what I actually meant by it, because I think there are lots of ways you can take it. But it was about being who you really are and being accepted for who you are, but also knowing that to somebody you are like the center of their world. You know, with those times when you feel alone or you feel worthless, or, you know, actually to somebody you change their life every day.
Wow. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I really like that message because in all mental health forums that I'm a part of, that's the biggest thing everyone talks about, is how you shouldn't change yourself just so you can fit into molds, and you should accept that you are who you are, and then people will love you just for the way you are, and everyone needs to learn to accept that, and don't ever be anything less than that. And I just think that message is just like so spot on, because it says all of those things. Yeah, it might be something that I have to steal off you.
You help yourself, it's for everyone. It's my billboard, it's for the world.
Walls and stuff, because I definitely need that.
What was yours?
Mine was, don't forget your smile.
Because yours has always been about this the smile, hasn't it? And I think it's fun. It's going to be interesting to see how that's evolved for you, because actually every time we go back to this, the understanding deepens that little bit more around, like, what is it exactly? So Karen was just saying about the fact that she's the hand to hold. Like, what way does the hand sit? Does it sit on your back? Does it sit, you know, does it grasp your hand? You know, this is about the detail around, like, where is the smile? What does it look like? You know, is it warm? Is it, you know, it's really diving into like exactly the metaphor that sits around that, because the smile was your metaphor, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I do, still a metaphor. It could be your impact. The smile could be the impact as well.
But I do know that the smile is, it's not a ha 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 smile. It's like you're doing fine smile, like that smile that someone gives you when you're so nervous or you're scared about something or you're second guessing yourself, and they just give you that smile and you're like, no, I'm okay.
Yeah.
That's the smile. The like, you're okay. You're absolutely okay.
Like you're where you're meant to be smile. Like,
yeah,
you're good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, when you perform or something and you look around the crowd and then you see that one person giving you that smile of like,
you're good to go there.
Yeah. And you're like, oh,
Yeah.
I am okay. I'm okay. And that's the kind of smile that it makes me feel, I'm actually getting warm and fuzzy inside just thinking about that, because
Me too.
I'm a room full of people and like seeing just that one smile and you're like,
it just shows it's all you need. That's actually, we're looking for that in everyone, or we're looking for it on a big scale, but actually just seeing that in one person, it goes back to your point, Georgie, about, you know, one person having that impact can change someone's life. And the fact that we're looking for that on such a big scale, we miss the detail of the power of that one smile from that one person, that actually, because we're looking bigger, we're looking for something greater. And this is about really noticing those tiny little things that actually make a difference, bottom up almost.
Definitely.
I love that. Right, I'm going to let you guys carry on, and I'm going to bring you back in 2 minutes.
Okay.
Oh, where am I going now? God, I get lost. Okay, I'm good.
At me. I felt a little bit awkward because I was like, oh, I don't know who you are. And he was just trying to offer me his ticket. He was just trying to say, but the initial was like, oh gosh, I don't know you. And the way I would like to be is that man. I want to be the man frantically to try and offer someone a kind gesture. But it's just funny how sometimes we get so stuck in the day or stuck in our head or whatever it is. And I want to just try and do more of that, be more of that. Being more of him.
How were your billboards, guys? Did you enjoy that process? And what was kind of most resonant? The planet, the billboard, what landed with you guys better?
So I loved Carolyn's billboard. She had a really inspirational one. I liked writing the billboard. I liked just thinking about something, a short, snappy something that might resonate. And do you know, it's funny, really listening to Carolyn, so Carolyn's speech reminded me of my world, which is quite funny how kind of like they crossed over a little bit.
Absolutely. There's going to be just hints here about the fact that they all come into like almost one, but they're just different ways of finding the information. And Carolyn, did yours shift much from last time? Did you notice much of a change here?
Well, I was saying to Yasmin earlier, I only did my homework today, so I was a bit rushed. And I really struggled. So, I mean, I still had in my head what I had like last time. So I did it and I managed to write something down, but I already struggled last time with this billboard and all that. It's just, yeah, I find it difficult.
Yeah, it's quite big when we kind of make it big, but actually it's about making it small. And, you know, one thing that might be good to think about is, something that you could do every day. So I think once we realize it as a habit, it's then not so unachievable as a life purpose, if that makes sense. So just sometimes thinking about that differently. Amazing.
I also thought, I know you said you found it difficult, but you were very eloquent. What you said sounded wonderful and it sounded whole. It didn't sound like you hadn't finished. It sounded great.
Thank you.
That's why you need the mirrors in each other, because actually sometimes we're like beating ourselves up because we're saying it's not perfect, that doesn't make sense, like, and actually just to say it back, it might make sense to someone even if it doesn't make sense to you. So
yeah, you know what this
looking for here,
you know, with this billboard, what I found challenging is like, who is it actually speaking to? Is it speaking to me, or am I speaking through the billboard to other people? So
well, it's the message that you probably need to hear, as well as the fact that once you then take it on as your own, it then becomes your purpose around the ripple effect of everyone else needing to hear it. So you could look at it in two ways, actually. But often it's something you have to learn first, that you internalize, and then it's something that then you want to share with the world, because that's kind of how growth tends to go, in that we learn something, we have a massive breakthrough, and then we're like, oh, the world needs to know this. I wish I'd known this, you know. And that's where the billboard comes in, really.
But what is your billboard? I mean, because you're quite clear on your purpose.
Well, so it's interesting because and I will say this back in the room, but my first ever statement was "Just do it," the Nike slogan, and that's changed so much now because actually that's so masculine, wounded masculine, of like, go, succeed. And actually it's a really good challenge, because I don't think I've updated it since then. So I'm going to take that back, Carolyn, and I'm going to get back to you on that, because I feel like it's going to be something around, oh no, it wasn't it? I said last week about the fact that fail hard, fail often, failure one, because actually it's a really different to the just do it, because there's still something about like action, but it's about not being afraid to fail. Like that's for me what I'd want everyone, because I always say to people, if you could fail at one thing this week, like please just see if you can fail at it, because actually once you fail, that feeling of, oh, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was, there's so much power in that. So but you can see how the two are so different, and that's probably 2 years apart.
It's quite interesting. I find, I don't know about you, Yasmin, but to hear yours, because I feel like Yasmin and I were more like similar on what we put, while yours seems completely different. So it's you know, when you write it, you're like, wow, everybody will write the same.
This is why the mirror is quite powerful, because actually you can only see yourself through your eyes, but I think it then helps to then understand the metaphors and then give each other labels and stuff as well, because actually it's a constant different lens that you're looking at yourself with, really.
Yeah,
interesting. Right, I'm gonna bring you guys back.
Oh, okay.
Oh, there we go.
We're the first one.
Did you think that too, Yasmin? That is like quite interesting with Natalie's being so different.
Yeah, it is interesting.
It's funny, no, because for us we were much more similar, no?
Yeah.
What was the exact wording of yours, Yasmin and Carolyn, your billboards?
So one of the examples was, you're amazing, you're worthy, shine on, my friend.
Yeah.
And then Carolyn, what was your long one? I love
had, be present and follow your dreams. You are unique and amazing.
Oh, lovely. So there's uniqueness there, isn't there, about not being scared to be different almost, and shining a light. That's again really, really powerful, isn't it? And I think I love how it's also, it can be so different depending on who you are and where you're at in your journey as well.
Can I just say, sorry, I couldn't finish that. Thank you for doing that, Karen. That was beautiful. And yeah, we can talk separately if you want more understanding of what I meant by the hand.
Thank you.
Perfect. What I'd love you guys to do just for each other, because we weren't in each other's group, is can everyone pop their billboard slogan in the chat box, because I'd love you guys just to see each other's, because there's just so much variation there. And we were just saying with mine and then Carolyn's and Yasmin's how like they're all so different, and there's a real beauty in the fact that they're so different, because that's actually our true essence, childhood essence, is the fact that we're not all meant to be the same.
What was yours, Natalie?
Well, mine, I was just saying that mine before, a few years ago, was just do it, the Nike slogan. But I literally have like changed so much in that I am shifting into that more feminine energy. So now it's actually, I mentioned last week, although it feels like even now it's changed again, is fail hard, fail often, and fail, I can't remember the third word, but I think it's something about not being scared to fail, because actually that's how you learn. So again, it's so interesting how as you change and evolve, and I honestly feel like at the moment mine's changing every week or so, and that's not a bad thing, because actually different things are resonating with you. So I went through a stage of just failing so much, but I knew that that's how I was stepping forward. So that became that billboard for me. But for me, I think it sits more with that, where I'm getting to is a billboard around peace and the nature of how powerful peace is if you actually allow it in, because that's reflection of where I'm at in my journey, really. Thank you so much, everyone, for popping those down. Wild baby, wild things. I like that, Molly. I love that. Amazing, amazing. And I would love you guys, I challenge you guys to, if you want to share this with a friend, a family member, or on social media or in any way, then I'd love to kind of give you the permission to do that over the next week. because it's something that might be quite empowering for you to step into this and kind of share it with family member, friend, or like I say, kind of sharing it more publicly if you want, because this is about you owning this as part of kind of who you are, really. Any comment you guys want to share in terms of just like light bulb moments from your breakouts before we go into our kind of metaphor conversation?
I just accidentally ate some of my herbal tea back.
All good, all good. Okay, so that is very much one half of the jigsaw. So I said to Yasmin earlier, this whole module is quite big, and I actually went on last week and I split it into two because I realized how big it was and that I needed to break it down. So we very much stopped at the kind of visualization bit around understanding like what might be resonant for you in terms of like the thing that you feel like you care for or want to kind of is your impact in the world. Now, the next bit for next week is around your life purpose statement. And this starts with the metaphor. So this is I am X. Okay, so this is what I'm going to give you a bit of freedom now to explore in another breakout room, is actually the first thing that comes into your mind when you say I am. And this is in relation to the question of what happens or what's present when I walk into the room. So that question you asked yourself in the homework is a really good anchor here when you're finding your metaphor, because this is about energy. This is about embodiment. This is about, is it light? Is it soft? Is it red? Is it yellow? Like how do I know that it's you, Yasmin? How do I know that it's you, Molly? What is it going to be about that impact that makes it yours? Because we could have the same impact statement, but actually, like I mentioned the thing about protesting in the street around animal rights, one person would have a placard and be literally like leading the protest. Another would be literally like planting a seed over a coffee with a friend. And this is about your way, doing it your way. And this is such a big part of this impact statement, because actually it's going to be in your own way, and giving yourself permission to kind of be fluid with that, really. Anything that just popped up there? I know a few of you from the just now from the breakouts had a metaphor in mind, but feel free to share anything that popped up. Just like, it might be that something just pops into your head. You don't really know why. It might not make sense at the moment because it kind of needs the whole sentence. So the whole sentence is, if you want to write it down, I am the X that. And that is the impact, but you'll go on and do this in your homework. I'm just focusing on the metaphor today because it's sometimes a bit harder for us to get out of our heads with, hence we're going to use each other. Molly, you're looking confused. Just to pick on you. You're on mute, my love.
No, I don't know. I don't know.
For being the butterfly, didn't we, as well? And it's thinking back at this point to your leader within as well, and to all the work we've done up to date, because there might be other energies that you've connected with throughout this process that you suddenly have, oh, that's so interesting that I've come back to that word again, or that energy type again.
What I was saying to Karen in the breakout room, that I found it, the kind of like the planet thing, kind of quite uncomfortable, because I felt strange to think that I'm creating something that is going to then impact on others. Like I don't know, I took it, I think it confused me, because I was like, I don't want to create a planet for that potentially I'm going to be having other people in there. It was a weird sensation. I kind of felt like I was doing it for myself, and instead of other people being there, it was actually what other people had left behind. So it wasn't about people being there, it was about what they were leaving behind that was there.
Okay.
And yeah, I don't know, I'm just a bit like, yeah, maybe I just can't focus today. I don't know, I've had quite a busy day, but
And just sit with it.
Maybe that's why I look confused.
No, I didn't mean to pick on you, bless you. I know you wouldn't mind me picking on you. But yeah, I it's one of those where if nothing comes up today, I want you to have the chance to just be with someone else and throw some ideas around, because actually it's quite useful to have a different perspective of someone else to help you get unstuck with this. Because I wouldn't want you going into the homework and being really stuck on the metaphor, that then someone can almost just like give you, you know, in the great breakout rooms, just give each other a few like words. And it might be that you just throw some names of animals out there and then you're like, yeah, no, you know, because this is about creativity, of like opening up your mind. So then you'll just know one and you're like, yeah, it's the dove. Like for me, it's like, yeah, it was the lighthouse, you know? So I think but sometimes you've got to have all the kind of like bigger picture, like to get out of our heads with this, because it's hard for us adults to embrace metaphors, because we do this as children, but it's quite hard in our adult life to like embrace the concept of a metaphor. You know, so with Karen's around a hand, that might be the metaphor, but it could also be the statement. So it's thinking about actually which bit's the metaphor and which bit is the impact statement, because actually this is where you're going to go away and have 3 or 4 different drafts of your life purpose statement you put together, but you might play them around. So if your metaphor is the bird, you might use different words as a metaphor and then use different words as the impact, and then put them together and you'll know from just reading it, yeah, that's exactly the right wording. So this is about constantly changing it about initially, and it's like loads of draft versions that will get us to kind of the closer, you know, closer to the kind of the finalized one, really, which won't be final forever because it changes every day. Mine does anyway. So I'm going to give you just a bit of time just explore that, probably only just over 5 minutes. I am just going to start with these again, just so you don't get put with the same people. So give me a second. Okay, all right. Okay, that's done. That's done. And there we go. Okay, guys, off you go.
Definitely.
So what enters into the room with you guys when you did that question? Like, what was that quite hard to answer, or did anything come up? Because this is a good place to start with the metaphor.
Yeah, for me, I think I thought who was going to be in there.
Okay.
Because people from my past that may not be here anymore, I would be a very different person to people who, like if I walked into a room of you guys, I'd feel quite confident. I'd feel like I'm really myself. But if I walked into a room of people who I knew before I was unwell and then kind of left me when I was unwell, I don't think I'd walk back out.
Mm-hmm. So think about it within a room then that you're comfortable in. So what enters when you literally walk into a room where you can be unapologetically you, and what's present there? Because that's what we're coming in on the experience of when you're in alignment, so when you're completely Molly.
Okay, well, I feel like who I would want to walk into a room and feel like I was the scent that everyone kind of feels really relaxed in.
I love that. Almost like a diffuser, like that you can just breathe it in.
Yeah. So maybe kind of like someone's favorite flowers. I think that would be.
You could say I'm your favorite flower, so it's personal to that person. Like I am your favorite scent, you know, I am you know, this is where it can be so personal, but play around with those words. But I love the fact that you breathe that in. There's something physical around physically breathing you in. Like I really love that.
I think it's because like we're all so individual, and actually the only one thing that we all do every single day is breathe. So yeah, I think that, yeah.
Wow, love it, amazing. I'm going to ask you to share that with the room as well, because that's a really good, like that's a really good way that's just cropped up quite naturally without your head getting too in the way of like, what, you can't breathe in this, no, how, what, you know, do you know, it's like our head gets onto this and it's like, no, this isn't possible. But actually you got quite in touch with your intuition with that, and you just flowed with it, and that's what kind of this is all about. What about you, Georgie?
So I wrote that when I walk into a room, I bring a warmth, a smile, and a sense of security.
Yeah.
And I've really struggled with this concept of a metaphor, because I know it's so powerful and I love everybody's, and I haven't got anywhere near what mine could be yet.
And you say colour is quite important to you, but you also said on our call last week that smell is quite important to you. Like, so maybe initially thinking about it as colour, but also as smells.
Yeah.
Might be just a place to start.
Yeah. And I did think when you were speaking earlier, thinking back to my leader within, I thought, what about like a meadow? Because that was kind of what my leader within was about, kind of the freedom and that kind of warm, yellowy light.
I love that. There's something around, and I think sit with that. Like, what is it about the meadow? Like, why the meadow? Because there's something about making sure that that word supports the right feeling. And there's something for me that comes up about the meadow being so open, expansive. But also you could put a word in front of the meadow. You know, that's where you can play around with these, in that it might be something about the meadow that makes it your metaphor. But I really like that, because actually it does take you back to that feeling. This is about connecting us to the leader within energy of, like, when we're feeling lost, that we can say this statement and then remember.
Yeah. I think for me, Georgie, you have like really calming and like welcoming expression, even kind of like, you know, that like, you know, that kind of word, that little slogan that went around about like resting faith,
or glow, and a vibrancy, which then made me think of a sunrise or something like that, that's got a warmth and a glow and a vibrancy. But again, just like super early, trying to think of something that came to mind. And I don't know if it's because we just had a gorgeous sunset and that is like fresh in my mind.
That's the whole part of it, you know, the deeper thinking, the creativity, taking all the answers that came from this last week's homework and bringing it all together. I love that though, Yasmin. It's lovely. I mean, I guess in your daily, you know, in your working life as a yoga teacher, you do make people feel good, because that's, you know, part and parcel of the purpose, isn't it? But yeah, everyday living, and you already, without consciously thinking about it, smile a lot anyway, even in these. And when you smile, it makes me smile. And I just think,
it's so infectious, your smile.
Bless you.
It's true though. It really is, and it doesn't, you know, it doesn't take much. So I guess you'll get there with your statement for sure.
Just play around with so many words. Like I was just saying to Georgie, like you might start with just colours or just smells initially, to then limit it, or like think about animals, or, you know, you can really start to kind of just home in on like a group, because then that gets the ideas flowing and then it goes on from there. So I think that might be a nice way to kind of spend time getting clear on the colour, which then might lead you on to the metaphor, because metaphors are quite hard for us to get our heads around. And go back to the leader within as well. So what was present when you were thinking about the leader within, because that might open up the metaphor as well.
Okay.
Karen, what are your thoughts on the hand? Is that the metaphor for you?
Yeah.
It could be the hand, or it could be the impact, couldn't it, really? Because I think it's about how, like I said to you before, like what is it about that hand hold? Like, I think that's going to get us clear on the metaphor, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm constantly thinking about it, but I've written down already, I am the hand that is gentle and comforting to hold, but I also want to have something that's it's powerful to lead as well. Trying to bring it all together.
It's like, yeah, whether it feels more important to hold or to lead, like sit with that almost. Is it about holding space, or is it about leading and igniting change? That probably sit with which one feels like it has more importance. And they might, like I said as well, you might have one. So we were talking a lot earlier about Yasmin and like G and then Yasmin. So it might be that Yasmin has a different life purpose statement as Yasmin, and then as Yasmin at work. So we can break these down if we feel like there's different parts of kind of ourselves that we want to work on, if we don't feel like we can fit it all into one.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I'm looking forward to revisiting what I did in this last week. I'm looking forward to the next piece, and then hopefully trying to piece it all together.
Yeah, absolutely. And it takes time, and we've only really done the metaphor today, but as soon as you put it with the words of the statement, it then does start to, and I do work you through that in the homework. So this is very much kind of, yeah, I am throwing in the deep end with this. So it's a whole week to sit with this and start to then, and as you read it out, because you'll present this to the group next week, that might then change it again. She might feel like, oh, when I said that, I didn't quite feel right. Because a lot of this is internal, and then we say it out loud, and it then something switches and something lands differently.
Yeah.
Right, I'm going to leave you guys for one more minute.
Yeah, thank you.
Cool.
Yeah.
I put you guys together because you're like a little bit of the alumni here, in that you've done this.
Yeah. It was actually nice just catching up, really.
Yeah.
Just talking about the whole program and
Good.
sharing our thoughts on it. But yeah, we were talking about Caroline's life purpose and whether it's changed in any way, or if it's still sort of sitting the same way. So yeah, we were just touching on that at the moment.
Interesting. And do you feel like your metaphor has, that smile, Eurasia, are you any clearer on the I am, the words around that? Are you going to sit with that next week?
So I think I'm confused when you say I am. So meaning, like, when you said that before, I was like, oh, I am kind is what came into my mind. But then you were like, it's the metaphor. So I was like, oh.
Yeah, so it's like, so this could be your smile. So this is the smile, it's a metaphor.
So I am the smile, right?
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I was
I am
like,
the smile that.
Can you just say your statement again?
Mine?
I am the smile that ignites. No, sorry.
Yeah, carry on. Oh.
Whose metaphor did you want to hear?
Yours. Your statement.
Mine. Oh, mine was, I am the smile that ignites. I can't remember. I'm sorry, I can't
Ignites
remember.
something.
I'm the smile that ignites.
But does smile still resonate for you?
Something in something. It does. Only because, why does it resonate with me? I'm the smile that ignites each individual with the power to believe and live out their best life. And so there's actually a background story of why I say smile. The reason is, firstly, I always got one of my sisters always criticized me because I didn't smile.
Mm-hmm.
I have a RBF, and it's always been that way. And she used to criticize to the point where I used to go home and I used to leave her company and cry because, yeah, it was harsh. It was her, then it was her husband. And I was like, can you guys give it a rest? Like, stop talking about me like this. And for me, when I talk about the smile, it's that acknowledgement in myself as well. Like, it's a reminder to myself to be like, a smile changes everything for a person. And you don't have to smile because it's going to make your sister feel good or anyone like that, but
what's coming up for me is like inside out, like it's almost trying to hold it in, like it's like so big that it's like it just takes over you, you know, it's that whole like, but it has to be inside out rather than doing it outwardly in, because that's the wrong way around. So there's something that just came there around that inside out feeling, I thought was quite interesting.
And it's also that association with, you know, that, you know, when they say smile even when you're crying, it's like, for me, that's how I've gone through my whole life. My entire life has been one big smile from the outside, even though I was dying inside. And that's why it means such a powerful thing to me, because I don't want anyone out there to feel uncomfortable or sad or scared or anything. I want everyone to be able to have that smile and have that, I was saying to you before as well, that reassurance, that guidance, and that, you know, please go, have your moment, have your mood. But remember, that smile's always there when you need
Absolutely. it. There's a real authenticity around that being true as well. There's something around the fact that you faked it, like they say, fake it until you make it. Like, but actually now you're like, it's actually real. Like, this is genuine.
Yeah. It's that coming to terms with, you've heard all this, people have conditioned you to make you think that you have to fake it till you make it. You've got to smile, you've got to cover all the pain with that smile. But now I'm like, no, I'm done.
How it works. Yeah, I love it.
I'm gonna smile because I want to smile.
There's something about truth in there. I don't know how you'll bring that through in your statement. There's something about it. There's something about truth, and like there's something about it being real. So yeah, I'll leave you with that to think about, because that's an evolution, isn't it, in itself?
Yeah.
Right, I'll give you guys 1 minute.
Okay. 6% stage. Sorry.
Hello.
I think we come back early.
I was really worried then, because suddenly there's no one there and I thought the meeting had ended. And I was sitting here on my own, like, oh, is everyone coming back? And now you're all good, you're all here. Amazing. We've gone slightly over on time, guys, so I hope you don't mind. And I just wanted to give you just an opportunity to quickly share anything in the chat box that you feel like you would like to in terms of your I am. And one thing I'd just like Molly to share, because I just thought it was really interesting, your one, in terms of what we came up with.
I can't even really remember it now. Me and Georgie.
I am your
We just went on like we just started talking about bikes. If that
I am your favorite flower.
Oh, she's gone.
Can you hear me? Hello.
No, we can't hear you.
Oh no, I don't know. Can you hear me now? I don't know what's happening to my connection. Let me just unclick again and connect back. Sorry, I am so sorry about that. I'm back. I completely dropped out there completely. Molly, sorry, you wanted to share yours. I am your favorite flower, I think it was. Your favorite scent, your favorite flower.
But yeah, so we were talking about scents, and yeah, when I walk into a room, I want everyone to kind of think about their favorite scent. I think that might have come, I've actually just had a weird brain thought, but my mum is obsessed with perfume.
That's so interesting.
And she's very particular on which perfume she has. So maybe it's around that.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Interesting. I just liked the way.
And I like smells too. Like I'm always that person to compliment someone on a smell, even if it's like some stranger. I've definitely done that so many times before.
You smell really nice.
Yeah.
I love that. And I like
the
way you put your in front of it. Like I am your favorite, because actually, again, with the metaphor, you can put any word in front of it that makes it feel, it's about getting the feeling right behind this. So yeah, I hope that helped you guys get into kind of the kind of creative space around metaphor. Feel free to jump in. Any final thoughts around anything that came up for you guys around some wild and wacky metaphors that you feel like sharing? And if not, we will share these statements back with the group next week. So the first thing we'll do next week is each of us share our personal life purpose statement and explain a bit about that, because I know that's quite scary, but that's the point of it, and that we're stepping into owning that as well. Any final thoughts? I think Yasmin, you had said something about sunrise.
Yeah, I'm still working on it, but that was kind of the initial thought that came to mind off the back of the question that you asked about when you walk in the room. My response was like a glow, a warmth, a vibrancy, and then the sunrise was kind of the thing that came to mind.
Yeah, I love that.
Flesh it out and see how it's.
And what you'll do in the next week is you'll have 3 or 4 different versions that you'll play around with the wording for. So it might be that you want to share a few different ones next week, and then almost like saying out loud might make you realize which one it is, because actually saying it sometimes helps you then own it, really. Final thing, Georgia, I'd love you to share yours, because I really liked the way you that you linked that back to the leader within.
Yeah, so I'm struggling a little bit with mine, but when Natalie said about linking it or thinking about linking it to the energy or the feeling of your leader within, my initial thoughts are to do with a meadow. So I am the meadow, or some sort of meadow, because it's kind of the feeling from my leader within. So that's what I'm going to play with.
Nice.
Exciting. And I hope you guys have got enough to get going on, in that this isn't about knowing right now. You're going to have a whole week to sit with this metaphor. But if you want to like throw some random ideas back and forth on Slack to each other or to me, please feel free if you're getting stuck, because even like sometimes thinking about colors or animals or smells, it can really help you just kind of get out of your head into this. And I will share on Slack just a few other ideas of metaphors and life purpose statements, just so you can kind of see how other people have put them together, because that can then help you with this creative process, really. But yeah, just have some fun with it, guys, because this is remembering this is not just who you are now, but who you are becoming. It's kind of something that is taking you forward. That's important to remember with this. So yeah, I'm going to leave you guys there, because I'm aware I've ran over, but I will be around for the next 10-15 minutes if anyone wants to debrief anything. And yeah, enjoy. I can't wait to hear them next week. No pressure. I will be asking every one of you to feedback, because I think it's going to be such a special part of the process to step in and own that and have everyone else's reactions as well.
Can I just ask before we all run off, is 6th of March okay for our virtual?
You mean April?
May. 6th of May.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are we all good with that?
Yes.
6th
Well,
of May is
May.
So, I'm like, where are we? What are we doing? What year are we in?
is that a Thursday?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I might be working. But go ahead and I might be able to get it covered. So I'll try. I want to come. Don't reschedule. Go with the 6th of May. And get it.
And we'll do this sort of time if that works for everyone. Yeah.
Amazing. Can't wait.
Perfect.
Fab.
Okay,
Okay.
ladies.
I will let you go.
Bye.
Have a lovely evening, everybody. And also, quick photo. Can you smile for me? 1, 2, 3. Thanks. Usually I get them and everyone's like in different positions. So that was a nice picture. Bye, guys.
Yeah, I see you put them on Instagram and I'm like,
Yeah.
That pose.
Love that about me. I know. Thanks, guys. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Natalie,
Yeah,
are you there?
I am. Are you okay?
Can you hear me?
I can. Can you hear me? Hello?
I wanted to ask a quick question.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah, of course.
Not very well.
Oh, no. Okay, let me switch my internet again. Hang on.
Okay.
Okay, I'm back. I think I should be okay now. I'm back.
Okay, cool. It's very quick and it's not really about the course, but it was just something I've been thinking about because I've been listening to the Jenna Zoe podcast that you sent to me about reframing. And something I'm struggling with that I want to have a different perspective on was time.
Mm-hmm.
So like when people say, I haven't got time, it really annoys me. And I think you can make time if you want to, but like, how can you reframe it how can you say it differently when you're really busy? Do you know what I mean?
So it's funny, I was talking to Yasmin about this today. I feel like there's something about not saying no, or not saying that you don't have time, but you saying not now, and creating a bit of space for the fact that it's not a no now, but actually you're just creating a bit of space for you to actually get back to them. Do you see what I mean? Like it might be, you can kind of think about if someone asks you to like do a meeting, for you to be like, can I check my diary and get back to you? Rather than actually having to react in that moment, that then creates the time pressure of like, actually you're not saying no, you're just saying not now.
Yeah, no, I like that.
Does that help? Because I think that sometimes we don't have time in that moment.
Yeah, no, it does. It's perfect. It's like not now. It's not like saying no forever. It's like at this precise second I can't, but I do want to, or I want to try and find the time. So
let me get back to you tomorrow on when I can help you with that. So a few statements like that, like let me, so even if someone like calls you and then you say, just give me to tomorrow and then I'll come back to you on when we can go for that walk. So you're just creating a tiny bit of space, but then the boundary that you put in place with that person will help them respect the fact that the next time they ask, you won't be able to do it straight away. Because this is as much about changing their perception of you as it is you changing the outcome, because actually they're used to you always making time or saying no. So you're just shifting the kind of like the container for that and just making it look a bit different through the fact that you're just taking a bit of control back and saying, absolutely, I'd love to help you with that, but let me get back to you on when I can.
Okay. Yeah, it's amazing. Thank you.
Let me know how you get on. It's a fun one.
Will do. Thank you very much.
See you soon. Bye. Bye.
Bye.